Coming to you live from the palatial studios of PBJ Productions. Welcome to Patrick and BJ Talk Real Estate, where we talk about life, the universe, and everything as it relates to real estate.
Hey everybody, it's BJ.
And Patrick.
And we're back, and we said this in the other episode that we shot while we were here in this location is, this is kind of like Where's Waldo for us, because we're somewhere. And if you guess where we are, put it in the comments, and
let's grab a coffee.
Yeah, let's grab a coffee.
Let's grab a coffee. We'll chat, see what we can do.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
So, okay, let's continue on with some real estate stuff.
So in this episode, I want to talk about foreclosures.
Okay.
So foreclosures are up 400%. Did you know that?
I've heard that.
Where did you hear it from?
I heard it from you.
You heard it from me. I'm reading articles, right? I'm watching the news. I'm
Yeah.
seeing what's happened. I'm looking at the stats, CMHC and others. Foreclosures are up 400%. You know, interest rates are up. You know, like if they're like 7%, 7.5%.
Yeah.
You know, what is the overnight rates 5%? You know, and I totally get it. You know, people are going to be having renewal shock of payments.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say. But you know what? Don't believe all the headlines.
I would agree.
Let's start there. 400% increase in foreclosures. Guess where that is? It's in Toronto. It's in Toronto.
Yeah.
Right? Wow. So what do you think? The market's crashing in Toronto, right? That's like the center of the universe for Canada.
Yeah.
And the rest will follow suit. It'll be like Ripple's tidal waves, aftershocks.
Yeah.
It'll be aftershocks after Toronto crashes, right? Guess what? How many listings are that? It's up 400%. It's 150 foreclosures out of 5,000.
Yeah. So that's not even...
All right. So I calculated this and everything, right?
Okay,
so it's a 0.03% of all the listings in Toronto are under foreclosure or a forced sale.
Yeah.
So, you know, even what was it back in like 2008, 2009, foreclosures didn't hit the market like a flood in Victoria.
Sure.
Like we both worked for the banks, we've worked for the lawyers, we've been on the side of the foreclosures, and we've represented parties going to court, and it's never been like a tidal wave of foreclosures. Even the last time the market, you know, made an adjustment, right? You could call it a crash, but really it didn't change that much, right? Looking at things in the long run. But I want to talk about not just foreclosures, but delinquency rates.
Okay.
So right now, delinquency rates are one of the lowest times in the past decades.
Okay. So maybe let's just do this so everybody understands this. How are we defining a delinquency rate?
Somebody who hasn't paid their mortgage this month.
Okay. Is it just 1 month or is it?
Well, I have all the numbers, but I'm not going to go through that, right?
Yeah.
So between 30 days and 90 days.
Okay.
So it's still like, what's my number here? 0.11%. So of 1%, it's a tenth of that.
Yeah.
So it's hardly, of all the mortgage holders out there that are making payments, right? I find it interesting. There was a news article that came out last week, and for Victoria, people are making purchases with, 30% of the purchases were cash purchases.
Right. Yeah.
So even at the height of the market during COVID, when everybody was making amazing offers over the price that the people were asking, we were still looking at, and that time was very similar. It was nearly 30% people were making cash offers. Then it came down, more like 20%, 22%, 25%, and now we're back up to that, even with these interest rates.
Okay. Well, I should add to that. I think we talked about this before. The thing is, people want to move here.
Yes, because the weather, not today.
It's kind of a windy, blustery
But it's not
day.
snowing.
It's not snowing. It's above zero. But people still want to move here.
That's right. So I could go through the delinquency rates of like certain areas, But if we're looking at overall in Canada, I'll ask you a question.
Okay.
Where do you think the highest delinquency, which province has the highest delinquency rates for the mortgages?
I'm going to say...
I'll give you a hint. BC's the Bring Cash province, right?
Yeah.
It's probably not BC.
Yeah, I was going to say I'd go with Ontario.
Ontario.
Yeah. Another one I would have said maybe would have been Nova Scotia.
Interesting. Okay. It is... I need a drum line, right?
Drum roll.
It's Alberta.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's, I think, where was it here? I wrote things down. It is your favorite place?
Calgary?
Edmonton. Edmonton has the highest delinquency rate.
I say Calgary facetiously, by the way, because I grew up in Edmonton.
Well, I'm teasing, right?
Yeah.
So that is the highest delinquency rate.
At what's the number?
0.033%, followed by, you're on the right track, Newfoundland.
Okay.
And I didn't write out, that was
Sure.
the next
Sure.
in line
Yeah.
province, right? And then it's Saskatoon after that.
Sure.
For highest delinquency rates.
Okay.
And then the lowest delinquency rate was Ontario.
Okay.
Yeah, that was Cambridge. They're wrapping this all into one because they're so close together.
Yeah.
Kitchener, Cambridge, and Waterloo.
Okay.
0.06%.
Okay.
So like,
and you see, the reason I went with Ontario was based on our first number of the 400%.
oh right, because we're headlining 400%. Oh, look, the foreclosures.
Yeah, right. So that's why I thought Ontario.
Yeah, but it's not even close.
Not even close. See, look at that. Right. That's.
Yep. Don't believe the headlines. You know, if you read the headlines, do a little bit more research, look into things. If it's asking an expert like us when it comes to real estate, we can look into that very quickly. We have the stats available to us. But there's more. Let's bring it back to BC.
Okay.
Of BC, now we'll play the guessing game. I'm going to ask you, which would be the, let's say, city township that would have the highest delinquency rates? What would you guess?
I'm going to say.
Out of like 32 municipalities.
Yeah. So I would pick Vancouver, but I'm going to say Kelowna.
Very good.
Because I think it's like you have a lot of vacation type properties there.
Oh, second properties,
Second
maybe?
properties, yeah.
That's a good point. So you're right with Kelowna.
Okay.
It has the highest delinquency rate in BC, and that's interesting that you say that because referring back to the last time the market made an adjustment,
Yeah.
which properties took the biggest hit? And you already said it. It was vacation
Vacation
properties.
properties, sure.
So I wonder if that has anything extra to do with that. But that was like 0.1%, 0.13%, if that makes any sense to anybody,
Yeah.
right? Like it's like, the point is, it's still a very low number.
Yeah.
Vancouver overall has a 0.08%. So it's kind of the same idea. And then Abbotsford and Victoria, we're doing a little bit better than that. Like we must be good with our money or something like that. We're 0.07%.
Okay.
So overall, people are not being delinquent with their mortgage payments.
Sure.
So if anything gets affected first, this is what we're going to watch out for. We're going to watch out for car loan delinquencies first.
Okay.
If anything happens in the marketplace, if you start feeling like, oh, I don't know if it's a good market, this or that, I'm watching unemployment rates and I'm watching car loan delinquencies.
Okay.
That's where it
Makes
starts
sense.
to get. That's
Yeah.
where it gets
Sure.
affected first.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, what happened last time? I'm always going to go back to like, this is my experience. 2008, 2009.
Yeah.
You know, all those $100,000 trucks.
Yeah.
They're all for sale for $50,000.
Yep.
I'm throwing numbers. I don't even remember what they were cost.
Sure,
They probably
but
were
the-
like
the gist of
$70,000
it.
trucks for $35,000,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, that's the idea. But in the meantime, everything's pretty steady Freddy still.
So,
We just did a market update. We're
Yeah.
at like 2,700 listings, somewhere in there.
yeah. I think the thing to go with that is, it's a pretty interesting market, but there's lots of opportunities in this market. And it's not a case of the world is ending, like you said, the bubble bursting, the 400%.
Those are all the headlines.
All those headlines
Yep.
are a little bit skewed to get your attention, but that's not necessarily what's happening. And I think there's a lot of opportunities that you can take advantage of things in this market. I don't know about outside of the Greater Victoria area. I'm sure you reach out to your real estate professionals to talk to them about that. You can reach out to us. We can certainly connect you with somebody in other markets that can give you an expert opinion on things. But, I think that really puts it in perspective about what the numbers really mean. It makes me think of Devin, where, right, we shot a piece with Devin and his son after I helped them get into their first home and really their forever home for them. And so Devin happened to be doing the interview, and his son was running around with us that day. And I asked him, why were you guys renting? And you remember that? He said...
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it when he said it.
Right? We just believed what we read on the internet, and it wasn't until we actually called somebody and talked to somebody at the bank and talked to you that we found out we can actually do this.
I don't know how many people I've met since then that it's like, just go check with the bank.
Yeah.
Have you done that yet? No, you haven't done that yet. Just find out more information about like what your situation, your income, your credit, your down payment, and see what the opportunity is.
Yeah.
At least you know if it's not possible, then you can make a decision, right?
Yeah,
like,
and at that point you can figure out, what do I need to do to make it possible? We've talked about that
at the same time.
Yeah, we've talked about that in other episodes also. So, I think we wanted to do this one specifically to kind of demystify a lot of and debunk a lot of the headlines.
The sky's not falling,
right?
The bubble's not bursting,
right?
Yeah.
So, but. Thank you for joining us today. I know we're basically out of time today, but thank you for joining us. Please take a minute and subscribe to the channel. We are pushing out 2 or 3 episodes every week.
2 or 3 episodes, absolutely.
And so subscribe, and so that way you won't miss anything. And you'll make. And if there's anything you would like us to talk about, feel free to put it in the comments. We're happy to address those things and talk about those things. And help us to grow the channel. Our first goal is, we're almost at 100 subscribers.
Almost there.
Yeah, we want to get over 100 subscribers. That's our first goal. So we appreciate everybody that's subscribed, and we appreciate everybody that watches the channel. But help us. We're going to keep growing and going.
And don't forget to guess where we are today.
Right. Right. Guess where we are. Come and or put it in the comments, and then we'll take you out for coffee.
All right, we'll catch you in the next video.